Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. This is Yelena and I am here with a new video, and it's actually a very special video. I have been blogging for 1 year officially. I know, I'm so excited that and surprised that it's been a year since I've started this blogging journey. It's been a lot. I've been learning a lot, and I'm having so much fun giving you guys content about the things that I'm so passionate about, which is, if you're new to my channel, that would be fashion, natural hair care, and having a healthy family relationship. And speaking of healthy family relationship, that is what I am going to be focusing on today. And basically give you guys my testimony regarding my family. And this is something that will give you guys an idea of why I decided to blog in the first place. And so the thing is, I decided to share my story, and it's going to be in different parts. I'm not going to just rant or like a really long video. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to cut it up in parts because it's very long and it's very dramatic. It's a lot of things that happen, but I promise you, you'll be blessed at the end. But I decided to do something a little different. Instead of just sitting and just talking to you guys, I'm going to also take off this makeup while I tell you guys the story. And I'm actually choosing to do this because at my church, Victory Church in Atlanta, we are doing a series called Church Face. And basically that just means that, you know, you go to church and you always look your best and you're always hiding, you know, certain things that you're going through or your past. And, you know, you just basically say, look, you just basically, you know, it's a mask. You're hiding behind the things that you experienced and went through. And so I decided to take off my mask, take off my church face, and be open to you guys when it comes to my testimony. So just want to give you a backstory. That's what this video is all about, is giving you a backstory before I actually get to the nitty-gritty part. So it's mainly about my family, and my family consists of course, my mom, my dad, and me, and then my younger brother, Greg, who is just like a couple of years younger than me. And so what happened is my parents got married very young age. My dad was 18 and my mom was 20. And they ended up getting married because their daughter, my mom was actually pregnant. And they decided to get married in 1985. And I was supposed to actually have a sister that was going to be born in 1986, but she died from stillbirth. I believe it was umbilical cord choked her, basically. So I was actually supposed to have a sister that's a year older than me. So after that, my parents gave birth to me a year later, and basically in like the beginning of their marriage, my mom started experiencing infidelity and abuse in the marriage. She basically told me right off the bat that it happened immediately within the marriage. And so my mom and my dad were only married for about a short period of time when my mom started experiencing abuse, and I'm talking about physical abuse and infidelity with my father. And so he was cheating numerous times. I mean, we've had this conversation with him that it was a numerous amount of women that he cheated with, and he cheated to the point that another child came into the picture. And just to give you a picture of that, my brother was born in 1989, and my other brother, my half brother, which I just consider him an actual brother anyway, he was born in 1990. So it was shortly after my brother was born that another child outside of my parents' marriage happened. And so even though she was going through the abuse and she was also going through infidelity, my mom made it a point to not leave because she grew up with two parents in the household. And so her desire was that my brother and I, would also grow up in a home with two parents, even if that meant sacrificing her happiness. And so shortly after my brother was born, the one out of the marriage, my parents, they made arrangements with the baby's mom, and my mom basically accepted the child as if he was her own. After my brother was born, the four of us, my brother, Greg, me, my dad, and my mother, we all moved to Atlanta. So before we moved to Atlanta, we were actually living in Shreveport, Louisiana during that time. And my dad decided that he wanted to move because it was better opportunities for him career-wise, and he just felt that it would be best for his family to move here. So my mom agreed, and we moved here shortly after my brother outside of my parents' marriage was born. And we actually moved up to Beaufort first before going to Doradale. And then during that time, my dad decided to pursue a career as a truck driver. So with his job, he was constantly gone, and he was always, away. And what happened was that he was also traveling off 48 states. So that really meant that he was gone for a while. Excuse me, guys, I'm just trying to take off everything. And so with him being gone for so long and so much, that also meant less time that he had with us, his children. And even though we did not have the closest relationship with my father, there was one thing we always bonded over, and that was music. So if you don't know right now, I am a huge music head. I absolutely love music, and so does my brother, and he actually does music. Mostly spoken word and rap and inspirational music. And so my brother and I grew a love for music because of my father. He would always be at the, he would always be in front of the boombox or stereo. That's what it was, stereo. He would be right in front of the stereo, always playing music, always, introducing us to things that we'd never heard of before. So, besides that, our father was a really active in our lives like that, and give the account we were still very young when he decided to move and live in Georgia. And so during this time, we would still form a relationship with our other brother that was outside of the marriage. However, there was still issues going on with my parents. My mom was still experiencing abuse, and she was also continued to be cheated on by my father. And of course, with him being gone and traveling to 48 states, that gave him amples of opportunity for him to mess around and cheat on my mother. And she continued to stay on because still she wanted to have two parents in the household. But it has to be until 10.5 years later when my mother decided that she wanted to leave my father. And let's just say my dad did not take that very well. My dad did not take that very well. And that ended up, those words, "I want a divorce," were the words that would just change our entire lives. And so I'm gonna cut to one part and then basically end the video because I wanted to keep it about 15-20 minutes long. But my father actually was in the house one day when me and my brother sleep in the bedroom. And I woke up to go to the restroom. And when I went to the restroom, I heard crying in my mother's bedroom. During that time, my father was already out of the house because my mom decided to leave him. And when I went into the bedroom to see what was going on, I found my dad there and my mom was crying. And when I looked to see what was going on, my mom basically told me to be quiet, go back into the bedroom. I'm fine. And she's wiping tears from her eyes. And my dad basically told me to leave as well. But of course, I'm looking like, okay, something's not right. Something is wrong here. And I had to be about 7 years old when this happened. Just to give you guys a background. And I went back into the bedroom. However, it was just something that was not right. I couldn't get over the fact that my mom was in there crying, and she had to be in there crying because of my dad. So the police was called, and before I know it, I see the police arresting my father in the hallway. Get into account, my younger brother Greg was actually asleep the entire time it happened. And so he actually did not see anything. I'm pretty sure he knows now, because I believe I told him, or my mom did, one of us did. And I was in tears. I was crying because I saw my dad in handcuffs. And I didn't know what to do. It was just a sad situation. So I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just trying to add this stuff onto my face. That's all I'm going to do right here, because I'm basically at the end of my story, well, part one of my story. I basically just wanted to give you guys a background over everything that happened regarding my parents' marriage, the infidelity and the abuse that my mom experienced, as well as my younger brother being born into this world, us moving here to Georgia for us to have a better life, financially, where my dad was a truck driver, and the abuse and the infidelity was still going on. 10.5 years later into my parents' marriage, my mother decides to leave my dad. And of course, that didn't go well with my father. He did not accept that he did not, want to lose his family. And of course, the next part is when I find my father and my mom in the bedroom, and my mom is in tears, and my father is pushing me to leave the bedroom. And the last thing that I mentioned was my dad being arrested, because the police was eventually called, and I was there to see him get arrested while my brother was asleep the entire time. So that's basically the background of my parents' marriage, of our family lives, before we get to the next part of our video. So I just pray y'all are blessed, and I really, really pray that this story blesses you guys and just gives you some hope within your family. So I will see you guys next week with another video, and I tell you, this is just the beginning. So I pray that you guys have a great day. I love y'all, and thank y'all for following me. And those who haven't, subscribe, like, comment. I promise you guys I will be back next week to continue on with the story. So y'all be blessed. Love y'all.